video? Yeah. It looks fake, right? For sure. Yeah. It looks fake.
Do you think the Gimlin footage is real?
Patterson Gimlin footage? 100% fake.
Fake?
Yeah. It looks fake.
Yeah.
Everything that looks fake is fake.
Is it a person in a suit?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
It's a guy walking.
It's a guy in a suit?
Yeah, 100%. Although I did get really high once, and I was convinced that it was really Bigfoot, and I was being an asshole all this time. I was like, oh my God, what if that really is Bigfoot? I've just been a dick. Because these hardcore Bigfoot believers, that's their footage. The Patterson... But there's so many problems with that. First of all, Roger Patterson literally got arrested for writing a bad check to pay for the camera that he used to film that. They went there specifically to film it. The guy, Bob Hieronymus, who says he was Bigfoot, when you see him walk, he's this big old gangly cowboy looking dude. When you see him walk, he walks exactly like that Bigfoot thing.
You think it was him?
100%.
Huh.
Yeah. They even have a receipt from a gorilla suit that they bought. Have you ever seen him walking side by side? Find a video of Bob Hieronymus walking side by side with the original Patterson footage. So they show the Bigfoot walking and then Bob walking, and you're like, oh. Like, I mean, because he looked like a Bigfoot. The guy was looking, you know, there's dudes, the big old cowboy looking dudes, big old fucking farm country strong dudes. Yeah. They look like apish. And this guy was one of those guys. And you see him walking, and he walks right, you know, they superimpose it. They put side by side rather. And when they do it, you go, oh yeah, definitely.
What a disappointment.
Do you want to believe that it's real?
No, I don't want to believe.
Did you ever believe it was real?
When I was 8, yeah.
And when you're 9, you're like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, but my God, there's people to this day, those hardcore Bigfoot people are cult members. They really are. They decide to shut off a part of their brain that critically looks at information.
Aren't there any eyewitnesses who strike you as credible? I was talking to Les Stroud about this. Do you know Les? I was talking to Les once about this, I think.
Yeah, Les, he's a very credible guy in terms of like survival tactics. He knows a lot about that. But he didn't see one with his own eyes. He heard something, and he heard noises that sounded chimpanzee-like. Bears make those noises all the time. I've seen bears make those. I've watched bears make those noises. They make them particularly when they're fighting with each other. They sound very much like gorillas. They do that all the time. So if you were alone in the woods and you heard that, and you heard smashing and thumping around, you're like, oh my God, there's a gorilla out there. Oh my God, there's some kind of a primate out there. There have been people that have spotted things that are very eerily similar to what you would think is a large bipedal ape. The problem is a lot of these places are heavily wooded and populated by bears, and bears walk on 2 legs all the time. So there's Bob, and there's the Bigfoot, right? I mean, case closed, right?
I never saw that.
I mean, look at that dude. Look, isn't he like what I said? Big old country dude?
Yeah.
I mean, we see that guy walking, and you imagine him with a fucking gorilla suit on. I mean, it doesn't even look good. It looks like shit. I mean, look at that thing. It looks like a guy in a gorilla suit. And in my opinion, everything that looks fake is fake. I've never seen anything that looks fake that's real. I mean, I could be wrong. Yeah. I don't know what that is. Yeah. But I definitely know that the guy that there's a whole paper trail of buying a gorilla. Is that what he's saying? That's the suit?
I honestly don't know. I've never seen this video. I was trying to find the side by side. I was having a hard time finding it, and this is the one I picked.
Okay, so he's saying that that's what he wore. But that thing does look like it. If you go back to that video, that photo of where he's holding up that suit, that looks pretty fucking similar, man. Pretty fucking similar. And all you'd have to do is put that thing on and walk through the woods. And it's just too convenient. All of it's too convenient. That the fact that the guy went looking for it and found it and filmed it, and the whole thing's corny. It's corny.
Data matters.
Data does matter, and there's no real data in terms of genetics. There's been a lot of like goofy talk that they found like some kind of human DNA and samples of hair. The problem with that is all that DNA's been contaminated. I actually talked to an actual biologist about this, and we did an episode of Joe Rogan Questions Everything for the Sci-Fi Channel on Bigfoot. We hung around with Bigfoot hunters. Duncan and I went out with them and looking for Bigfoot and camping with them and everything. And it's people that are just looking for something, and some of them have had experiences. Some of them have said they've seen things, but it's just all of it just reeks of horseshit. And it's unfortunate because I think at one point in time it was real. I think almost certainly at one point in time human beings did interact with Gigantopithecus. It was a real animal. You know about that? Mm-hmm. And Gigantopithecus matches exactly like what people talk about when they talk about Sasquatch. It looks exactly like that. An enormous bipedal hominid that was, maybe more than 8 feet tall. And they found out about this thing by accident when a guy was looking in an apothecary shop in China, and he found gigantic teeth that were clearly primate teeth. He's like, where'd you find these? And they go there and they go to the site and they dig out jaw bones that indicate it was bipedal. And so now they know it's a real thing that existed. And I think they date that to, when do they date? I think they date that to 100,000 years ago. When did they date Gigantopithecus to?
Wikipedia says roughly 2 million to 350,000 years.
350,000. I thought it was closer. I thought it was closer to us.
That's just what Wikipedia says. I have to see if there's other disputes or something.
Yeah, see, because I'd read that the carbon date that they did on these teeth, I think they said that was somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 and something thousand years ago. So that would put it, with semi-modern looking human beings. So the question
Very
is,
modern.
Right, and then the question is how long did it survive? Like, just because you find something, say if you find one that's 200,000 years old, doesn't mean it didn't exist 100,000 years ago or even 50,000 years ago. Like, when was the last one? When did they die off? And when did humans encounter them? And if you look at their range, like if they found them in Asia, and then you look at the Bering landmass, and you look at where does it drop off? Well, it drops off in the Pacific Northwest. Like, that's like literally, like, goes down Alaska, makes its way down the coast. Dense forest, which is where a thing like that. So proteins extracted from a roughly 1.9 million year old tooth of the aptly named Gigantopithecus is a close relative to modern orangutans. So protein comparisons amongst living fossil apes suggest that Gigantopithecus and orangutan forerunners diverged from a common ancestor between 10 and 12 million years ago.
Jeez.
But when did it die off?
It says the same thing. It says they hadn't found anything from the
300,000
late Pleistocene era. They only have this from the early part of it.
Okay, so it said the fossils date from around 2 million to almost 300,000 years ago. The sizes of individual teeth and jaws indicate that it weighed between 200 and 300 kilograms. That's a big fucker. Interesting. So that was Bigfoot. So if humans did make it to the point where we had language and the ability to communicate ideas, they probably would communicate about all these creatures that they encountered, and that would be one of them.
Yeah.
But the actual Patterson footage Bigfoot, that's horseshit. There's just too many hunters out there, too many hikers.
Who would have seen something?
Yeah, they don't see anything.
Yeah.
I've talked to many people that have spent they've spent months in the backwoods. I know multiple guys that do, like my friend Adam Greentree from Australia. Every year he comes to America and he'll do a remote wilderness elk hunt solo, and he live streams it. He puts it pieces of it on his Instagram, and he was out there for 28 days. He did see a grizzly bear a couple years back, which is not supposed to be there in the San Juan Mountains of Colorado. But that's close to Wyoming, and Wyoming is a habitat for grizzlies, and it makes sense that grizzlies would go across the border and make their way in there. And there's been historical sightings of things that people thought were grizzly bears there, but no Bigfoots. None. Zero. You would think somebody would get a camera footage shot of it, from these trail cams or camera traps or something. I mean, nothing.
And you personally never heard or experienced anything?
No. Like a Bigfoot thing?
Yeah.
You don't think I would say that first? That'd be the first
Maybe
thing
you're
I would
holding
say.
out, Joe.
No, I've never even seen a wolf. I mean, I think I did see a wolf once in Alberta, but it was very, very dark. It was getting dark at night, and I saw something run across the road that looked like dog-sized. I thought possibly it could be a wolf. But they have wolves up there. They spot them there all the time. That's not uncommon. The Bigfoot thing is just one of those legends, like the Yeti. And we know too much about the world now. What's coffee?
Can I have some?
Yeah, please. We know too much about what's really in the world now
Thanks.
to fall for something like that.
Quiet.
Patterson Gimlin
Yeah,
footage,
yeah.
100% fake.
Fake?
Yeah, it looks fake.
Yeah.
Everything that looks fake is fake.